Everybody mute. Everybody do the mute. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Everybody was mutant fighting.
So hey.
Hey, another day, another dollar. Here we are, Friday night.
Yes, a whole dollar. One whole dollar. Actually, it was better than, I think you guys had a better than a dollar day. What do you think?
We did have a pretty good day. I worked very hard today.
And I helped.
Yes. So, and then Jody just got back from a trip.
We did. Benji and I went on a side quest, and we took almost 2 weeks. It was a little chunk of change of some time, and we went down to Florida and Alabama and Georgia, and that was a whole lot of fun. Got to visit with some family, and the things that you forget. There are certain words down there that you forget. There's a lot of grandmas, and they have their youngins. So I saw one grandma say to the other, like, "You didn't bring your youngins in today?" Or something. They do this a little bit. "You didn't bring your youngins in today?" Lots of diphthongs in there is wonderful. But yeah, I just love that there's. And one of the most amazing things that I saw in Alabama specifically was that people who were old, so late 80s, 90s, were living their lives. They have these old communities that are like 200 plus years old. So They have crumbling buildings and then new buildings, but really they just keep using the spaces that they have, the historical like Main Street walkway. And I saw so many older people just sitting out, just talking and chilling. And I think a big part of it had to have been the fact that it was the weather that kept their bones and their bodies, more flexible and stuff, rather than up here it's freezing. And then there was less risk of an elder falling or something because there's no ice or whatnot. But it just kind of was nice that the older people could have a sense of freedom that we don't really see here.
There's no, that's actually
no chance of a moose just randomly walking through your yard.
But a snake, yeah. Oh, but they have panthers there. I did not know that Alabama had panthers. Super cute, and bobcats.
But the Florida panther is zero threat to humans.
Oh, and then the Florida panther, that's right.
Yeah, there's YouTube videos of people on the boardwalk at the Everglades, and then just a mountain lion just runs right past them. Wants nothing to do with them. Yeah, that was.
That was cool.
Change your day, but you were in no danger the whole time.
No, exactly.
They have cute.
They have no. Oh, okay.
They have no agenda.
Well, they're not interested in humans. Basically, they're not really. They're not really going after you. You're not food.
Right.
So let's see.
I got a straw. I'll be right back.
The crocs, on the other hand, they're a problem. Especially if you're close enough.
Yeah, I was going to find it. I saw that video a while back. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, you just put Florida panther and boardwalk.
Oh, it was right. It was a Florida panther, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, a panther is a mountain lion, is a puma, is a cougar.
Well, yeah.
Actually, there's a bunch of cats that would qualify as panther.
Probably.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not coming up now because I want it to.
But yeah, they're as big as, your other mountain lions or pumas that we have, in the rest of the country.
Yep. Well, I got one from 2021. Was that one? I thought the other one was more recently, but maybe not. Maybe that was an old video that just came up. Oh, yeah, no, it's from 2000. There's one from 2016. That's the one I saw. So anyway.
Show it.
So it's already gone. Did your thing fall down?
Want clamps?
We got clamps. Woo! Well, that was close. Get her some clamps. we got backdrop issues, but we're gonna take care of that here momentarily. Oh, she's just holding it on. Michael's got it here. He's got clamps. We'll get that fixed. We used them the other night when we did recording in here.
Nice. All right.
Remember
Jerry's
when
back.
we did that stuff and those things?
Those things and that stuff. I do remember
Yeah.
those things and that stuff. So yeah, but I'll tell you, I've seen more U-Haul than I've ever seen, and more U-Haul distributors there, like mom and pop shops with with the U-Haul, and it's like God bless America. I don't know. It's just like this most amazing feeling of like businesses helping businesses and helping America move, and I love it. I love U-Haul.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, that's way cool because they'll, it helps out those businesses. It helps out
does.
those folks, and it's not like a big giant.
Yeah,
You
it's not like
just put them where and you put them in
all kinds of
multiple
different
locations, right?
Yeah, there were so many to pick from. But I feel like that's where all of our U-Haul trucks went. We're like Florida. And I was like, that's where all the trailers are. So much stuff there.
That's crazy. Yeah, because you guys have a little bit of a U-Haul business here, which is way cool.
Do,
Keeps you guys going.
Yeah, right after the pandemic, Jeff, who's U-Haul royalty here, because his family's not only like works for U-Haul, but they kind of started it in Alaska. So that's pretty cool. And they're it's either the father or the grandfather was a pilot. And so they, when they put the first U-Haul in Anchorage, which was back in like maybe the 60s or something, the guy who was starting at Jeff's relation, he actually put U-Haul on the top of the building so that the pilots could see it. And so everything was based on, from the U-Haul, you're going to make a left, but because that was a distinguisher in the sky.
Oh,
and
cool.
I thought that was really neat.
That is cool. Michael, you look perplexed.
For right now, it's fine.
Okay. Got clamps, though. Could clamp it.
Watch out. So yeah, that was always like to see lots of businesses helping other businesses. Makes me happy. I like to think of myself as a Hello Kitty capitalist. I love the good parts of capitalism. I love the fact that all of us can go out, make a business. I can tell you exactly how I run my business, and it's not going to be a problem because you're not me and I'm not you. So it will always be different, and it will always go towards what you think is best for your business. So I don't mind this idea of like just sharing and just entrepreneurship and just that Hello Kitty capitalism.
Right.
Just, positive, friendly, and hopefully we all win.
Yeah, I've never considered us to be in competition with other, antique or secondhand stores. They're on their own path. We're on ours.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Exactly. It's the competition is the big guys, the giant corporations, which have way outsized influence on everything right now.
It's like a few of the shops that of course, I went to a lot of antique shops when I was down there just to see, just what was out there and everything. And the things that I saw not at, again, these local, unique little stores that have their own little characters, but I saw this ugly box store in a mini mall kind of place that had huge, huge signs. It's like, buy it on credit, use credit. And I'm like, you're sick. Because why? We shouldn't have to have a system that demands that you buy on credit because you don't have any money. We should be able to have affordable items for you. Just at a regular, going to the grocery store, going to the furniture store shouldn't kill you. It's a necessity, right? Furniture is a necessity. So why should we make it unaffordable? And I noticed that when we were down there, their pricing was our pricing here at the store. That tells me something huge, that if lower, what do we call it? LA, Lower Alabama. That's what they call it. I'm going LA, Lower Alabama. If they have a €200 antique chest for $475, and we have a 200-year-old antique chest for $475, that tells me I have good pricing, and that's a true attest of what that piece of furniture is valued at, and that what we think should be appropriately sold. Because some stuff you don't want it to go for super cheap. If it's special, it deserves that price. And people almost want to pay that price to feel that special. If you got something for free, it feels good, but it doesn't feel as good as saying you got this price and it's a good deal or something like that off of the value of what it is. So I like being able to make people smile, get them stuff.
No, as long as it's in good repair, you should be able to get, some antique pricing out of the deal.
Right. Especially on antique items, for sure.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully for antique items, but if all it is old and broken down, it might be junk.
No, right. Exactly. Some people think because of age, it's something special, but sometimes it's just not.
Yeah, it all depends.
Yep.
It's just a hammer.
Sometimes a hammer's just a hammer.
Well, no matter how old it is.
So yeah, I went on my trip. What'd you do today or this week, Robbie?
I worked on a video.
Did you?
No, actually, yeah. I worked my regular job and I worked on a video, but I also, my other half is out of town.
Where's she at?
And so she's in Canada, actually visiting a friend.
Cool.
And so, yeah, so I got all the dogs, so I had to stay home and watch all the dogs, feed all the chickens, and
Did you find any new pets you didn't know you had?
No, I did not. Our neighbor is actually watching the sheep, so that's good because
you just be funny. You don't say.
I don't want to.
When did we get a seventh dog?
Yeah, right. So I worked from home some this week, and then worked on the video, and then in between took the dogs in and out, because she's usually home all day. She works from home, so they're used to that. They're not used to hanging out in their kennels on the garage, and so they're spoiled. So I'm like, all right, I'll work from home. Some I did have to go in the office some, so they had to sit in the kennels, but then I came back home. But yeah, so this this trial that we started following and started doing these little updates on.
I know, I'm excited. Have I missed one or two?
You missed one, I think.
Okay.
What's hilarious is the second video that we did, video number 2, is almost to 20,000 views.
Wow.
It is crazy. And it keeps getting, like, over the last 48 hours, my live stream that I did last night to actually put the video together had 221 views, which is way cool. And then, but that second part 2 video had another 149 views.
Wow.
It's so crazy. And so that one just caught fire. I don't know why. It's at 19,117. So it's going to hit 20,000 here soon, which is nuts. So this week, lots of things have happened, though. This week was the end of testimony, right? So testimony is done in the case. It's over. And
did she testify?
No. Nope. They put on a guy who was a plow truck driver who witnessed didn't see John on the lawn. And then at about 2-something in the morning, he saw a Ford Edge in front of where they found the body, is what his testimony was. There was a Ford Edge parked there at 2 a.m. where they found the body the next day. And then they put on a couple of medical folks. They put on a guy who said, yes, she did that search at 2:27 in the morning.
But not Karen Reed did the search.
No.
One of the other ladies,
Jennifer McKeag McCabe did the search at 2:20 in the morning.
Gotcha.
They put on
And then again, a couple times later,
one of the preeminent dog bite experts in the world took the stand and said his injuries were not from getting hit with a taillight. They were from a dog or a large animal, which is what she said.
Doesn't the homeowner own a pit bull? Or did he had to rehome it since then?
German Shepherd. A failed police dog because it bit people.
And conveniently had to rehome it after the murder and before the trial.
Oh
Correct.
my gosh, the plot thickens.
Oh, this week has been nuts. So then they put the guys on that the FBI hired to look into what actually happened. And the FBI's these guys are from a place called ARCA. The FBI hires them, insurance companies hires them. The NFL has hired them to look at head injuries. Wow. The military has hired them to look at their armored vehicles and get people better protected from blasts. These are like experts of physics and motion and the little goofy guy that I don't think you saw that one, the goofy trooper guy that testified this. No. Oh my God. I'll have to show you. I'll show you that one later. So these guys got up. Their theory is the taillight was smashed by the drinking glass. He got pissed off, and as she was driving away, threw the drinking glass and hit the taillight. And so they set up something to prove this theory, and you'll see that in the video here in a minute. Then they had closing ceremonies. Good God, closing arguments.
Ceremonies.
Almost like ceremonies. So the lady who did the 227 search, Jennifer McCabe, and Brian Albert, the guy, I think it was Brian Albert, the guy whose lawn John O'Keefe was found on, came to closing arguments and sat in the gallery staring at the jurors. These people think they're the freaking Sopranos. They are in some protected family. It's gross.
That is gross. That's illegal, isn't it? No,
because testimony's closed. So even though they were witnesses in the case, so
it's not illegal, but it's immoral to.
There's
front.
They're slimy
but
people.
They're not intimidating the jury. They're observing the court proceedings.
Yeah, exactly. They're taking part in the court.
I'm not saying your house might burn down. We just don't want to see anything bad happen to it.
So guess what? We are 4 days into deliberations. They got the case on Tuesday. They delivered for a couple hours on Tuesday. They delivered all day Wednesday. They delivered all day Thursday. And when I say all day, from like 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock with an hour or 3:30. They came out today and said, we are deadlocked. We cannot reach a verdict.
Oh man!
And so the judge said, "Go home over the weekend." So there's probably at least one holdout that's saying, I mean, because this case is this is the definition of reasonable doubt, and you'll see this at the end of the video here. So because it's the last week of video, I've been trying to keep these videos like 4 or 5 minutes. I went a little nuts on this video. With the credits, it's like 9 minutes long. The most of it's about 5 minutes for all of it, but then the two experts at the end, they take up like another 3 minutes of the video. I had to give them their time because he was so proud of that thing he invented that you'll see here in a minute. So without further ado, let's roll this week's video, and then we can talk about some of the stuff that we see here. So second, let me share a screen. That. Share that. Oop. Video go. Weird. There we go.
Woo.
Okay, and I'm gonna.
Lally, the me is going to make your whole case. Lally, the me.
The manner of death has to do with the circumstances under which Mr. O'Keefe sustained those injuries.
Right.
And I did
am
not have
clear.
enough information to be able to determine whether those injuries were accidental or not.
Right. It's
And
unclear.
And just from the spectrum that you had just talked about, the 5 different manners of death, you did not determine that this was either or natural causes, correct?
Correct.
And
Yeah,
so as
we
far as
ruled
your
those out.
determination of manner of death, which of the 2 were you?
Obviously, between homicide and
Two
accident.
manners of death that remain are accident and homicide.
May I approach?
Isn't that where everybody's at?
You notice multiple lacerations on his nose.
Yes,
Multiple abrasions on his nose.
correct.
You notice a laceration to his tongue.
Yes,
You noted the contusions on the back of his right hand,
correct.
the injury, the contusion to his left hand as well.
Correct.
And as you just testified, bruising on the back of hands may be consistent with defensive wounds.
It could be.
The laceration to the eye and the 2 abrasions that we see there on his nose.
Correct.
And you agree that those injuries don't just manifest out of nowhere, right?
Absolutely.
They have to originate from something.
Yes,
Would you agree that his injuries to his face are consistent with having been punched?
that is a possibility.
The problem is there's too many possibilities, right? When too much is possible, that's just kind of
Your
the
internal
definition
examination
of
notes
doubt.
also cite
Your truck, is there one that's specifically assigned to you?
Yes,
And does that truck have any particular nickname?
yes, it's called the Franken truck.
And why is it called the Franken truck?
It is a truck that has a lot of different parts than what it's required.
Oh, this guy is so precious.
Where is your attention focused, sir?
On the one.
My attention's focused in front of me and then to the sides.
Why would your attention be focused to the sides?
I am trying to be aware of any side traffic, any pedestrians, and God forbid, any animals.
When
Like he's looking for pedestrian, and God forbid the animals. Like animals are more important than humans to
as you
him.
pass
Good
every
man.
home.
Now, in fact, when you first spoke to this individual named Paul, you didn't tell him it was a Ford Edge, correct?
Nope, told him it was Ford Edge.
You didn't tell him first that it was a small SUV?
Nope, told him it was Ford Edge.
When you reviewed data from her phone, did you find a particular artifact of interest?
Yes, I did.
What did you find?
We found a Google search that happened. First of all, the search was how long to die in cold.
We know what the search was.
And it happened at or before 2:27 a.m. Found in the artifacts of that phone.
And so, just to conclude, that's not what you said in your affidavit that was actually filed under pains and penalties of perjury with this court, correct?
Yes, and on that day, that is what my true and proper belief was. Okay, it's since further testing, I have found that I now believe that that was probably an automatic one. And if I've caused you any distress, I apologize.
Haven't caused me any distress.
Okay.
Have you ever published peer-reviewed articles and done research in the area of animal bites and scratches?
Yes.
Did you also author or co-author an article called Law Enforcement Canine Dog Bites, Injuries, Complications, and Trends?
Yes.
What is your opinion or conclusion about how these injuries were sustained?
I believe that these injuries were sustained by an animal, possibly a large dog, because of the pattern of the injuries.
You're reaching out or contact in regard to this case. How did that come about?
Okay. I saw an article, I believe it was in the Boston Globe, regarding this case.
And how long had you had a subscription to the Boston Globe at the time that you saw this?
It was either a 6-month subscription or a year.
Now, again, you had testified here just a couple of days ago when I asked you questions about this. Is that right?
Yes.
It wasn't in your testimony just a couple of days ago that the subscription was actually for a year or 18 months.
No.
Remember. Now, this first instance when you say you heard about it, how did you hear about it?
Headline from the Boston Globe.
How long had you been a subscriber to the Boston Globe?
I mean, she went to UMass. She went to
Probably
MIT,
a
Lally.
year or 6 months.
She did not say that.
No, I don't believe so. I believe that I said it was a 6-month subscription or a 12-month subscription.
We were there, Lally.
She said 6 months to 12 months. So I don't know why and it doesn't even matter. Like, this is the type of stupid stuff you don't want to do on Cross because it wastes time. It makes you look like a bully. It makes you look like a jerk.
looking at whether or not the glass could have produced the damage to the rear taillight that you saw, correct?
Correct.
And what did you do in furtherance of making a determination about whether or not that was possible?
Certainly. So myself and one of our lab technicians at ARCA, we designed and developed a pressurized air cannon. So it was capable of firing a projectile such as a drinking glass at the taillight. So it essentially, you can think of it kind of as a giant cannon, but it had a barrel, and then there was a valve that would open rapidly, and directly behind that was a pressurized vessel. And depending on the pressure, the PSI of that vessel, would determine essentially the speed at which that glass would be projected into the taillight.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Oh man, I love that. I mean, it's a potato cannon, basically. Wow. Wow. And he's got this big grin.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I bet he's so much fun to hang out with. And I also, at one time, built a potato gun to shoot out in the pasture. And also, the theory that they came up with about the drinking glass is something that I came up with. And I'm pretty sure that, that is just fate. Look, I have said I'm going to go back and find that damn... I need to find the clips of me saying... about the glass, because it's just proof that me and Crash Daddy #1 think alike.
It still doesn't mean Karen.
What type of glass did you use?
So we used a rocks drinking glass. So that's a glass that has a thicker base and a shallower sidewall.
And so what I'm asking, so was it cocktail glass? Was it pint glass? What kind of drinking glass were we talking?
Lally, he just said we used a rocks glass. Well, what kind of glass was it? Was it a cocktail glass? It's a rocks glass, Lally. That's a type of drinking glass. It is a type of cocktail glass. He literally just said it.
We're going over that.
Having been pushed or possibly been impacted by the subject Lexus and fallen backwards, striking his head. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, so that's another possibility.
Sorry, sir, yes or no?
No, let him answer. Let him answer the question.
So if we're saying that there's enough force if you fall backwards to strike your head and cause that skull fracture, well, he could have slipped and struck his head. The car could have backed up and not known that he was there and nudged him and caused him to fall. I mean, any event that would cause him to fall backwards obviously would result in him striking his head. So there's numerous, almost infinite possibility of different scenarios that could result in that type of an event.
Thanks.
Mr. Jackson?
Nothing further.
Okay.
Wait. What? Wait, what? That's his end? Oh my God! Lolly, why do you end on you getting humiliated? You mic dropped on yourself.
Blah, blah, blah. Well, there we go. There's my 9-minute video. I saw a couple of, it's a good thing we do this on the stream so I can find the corrections I need to make before I actually put the video out on, TV. Is it TV?
I
Okay,
love all
in my
the
screen
lawyers
share.
and all their different flavors.
Oh,
the
yeah.
dude
No,
with the pipe
exactly.
and everything, and then people being creative with their law names. I think that's awesome.
No, it is. It's very cool. They're a pretty close knit community there too between all of them.
Well, if you have a lot of people who I know lawyers are definitely lawyers and they marry lawyers because nobody wants to be around a lawyer, but I mean, they could be cool.
No, some of them. Some I've seen
Does
some
anybody
cool
know any cool
ones.
lawyers?
Yes.
Yeah, I met a few.
Yeah, I've met a few.
But you're
I've met a
right.
few
Generally,
cool
they like
ones.
to argue, and
No, they do.
and that is one inbred community. She's right. They marry each other.
My brother is a lawyer
Oh, really?
in Columbus, Ohio.
Got our friend Colleen is going to law school, be a lawyer. We need her to be a lawyer. So for all the burlesque dancers, because we cause lots of trouble in the community.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
You
It would
guys are
just be nice
such
to have a burlesque
troublemakers.
lawyer,
Yeah.
You don't need law school if you want to pay the fees and take the bar exam and pass it. You get a law license.
Yeah. So
the bar's extremely difficult without law school.
No, it absolutely is. Yes.
So if you want to pay the dues.
Couple things that I saw. Share this again here. This is the medical examiner, right?
Right.
For the state. This is a state witness, right? And so if you look at her face while she's being questioned by Lolly, by the DA, I mean, she looks just stressed, and I mean, she's closing her eyes. She's got a thing. And so now when she's being interviewed or questioned by Miss Little, you notice there's smile.
Oh.
Right. I mean, a different demeanor completely.
Right.
Like,
So that's not based on the data, it was based on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, nobody likes that freaking DA guy.
Gotcha.
And then
is that her lawyer or is that the state's lawyer? Because the state's bringing the case towards her, right?
Yes.
So is that the state's lawyer that nobody likes?
Yes.
Okay.
The DA.
Yeah.
The district attorney.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's a complete weirdo.
It's a rice-a-roni head. Well, it's not a.
No, he got up and just immediately started lying in his closing arguments. It was so amazing.
Can he get fired for that?
Actually, closing arguments, there's a lot of leeway.
Yes, there is. Yep. And then I realized I left out. So, this guy said, yes, it did happen. So the state had hired a couple of experts to look at the search, the 2:27 a.m. house long to die in cold search.
Right.
And so those experts said, yeah, well, it didn't happen. None of them tested the specific iPhone with the specific software.
Oh, geez. So that doesn't mean they did anything.
He said, I tested the specific iOS version.
Right.
None of the other people did. They did not test the specific iOS version. And it showed that it did happen at 2:27 a.m.
Wow. That's pathetic that people aren't doing their due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're covering up for their friends.
At some point, these friends need to start walking away and saying, hey, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you really? I mean, are these friends really going to go to jail for these other friends?
It seems like they don't think they're going to. It seems like they think they're protected.
Think they're untouchable.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would be getting scared at this point with all these lies that I helped.
And, does it come up about the former relationship with, was it the victim and the homeowner's family or something like that?
Right. Oh, yeah. No, it was the investigator, the lead investigator was the guy that said all those horrible things about her. This lady is, I guess she's one of the preeminent experts, but look at her face.
Yeah,
she really dislikes freaking Lolly, man. You can tell
especially after the fact that he basically said she lied. I could see a woman of that age and that superiority being done with him.
Oh yeah.
And I want nothing. Yeah.
For not even, I mean, how do you get that wrong?
Yeah.
You can go back and watch the testimony over again like we did. We went back and watched it.
It should be in their notes.
It should be in your notes, or it should be in go back and watch YouTube and watch the freaking testimony.
Yeah.
So that was ridiculous. And then, did I miss? I missed Lucky. So there's another piece on this. I'm gonna have to go home and add it because I really want to add it. So he asked him about that guy Paul, did he say, didn't you say it was a small SUV first? And he's like,
Right.
no, I told him it was a Ford Edge. And so then Lolly asked him, well, do you know the difference between, when you're from behind, can you tell the difference between a Ford Edge and a Jeep Cherokee? And
He probably said yes.
like he goes, well, yes, I can.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, what's the difference?
The label?
Well, no, he goes, the taillights on the Ford Edge are a lot rounder. The facade on the Ford Edge is a lot rounder than it is on a Jeep Cherokee. And in silence from Lolly. I mean, it was so ridiculous. Oh yeah, just completely busted him
I was like,
out.
I probably couldn't tell you, but this man looks like he could tell you. Anybody who says car stuff with confidence, yeah, I'm like,
I'm thinking Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny.
No, dude, that's exactly we were talking about it as I putting the video together last night, and that was exactly the same thing I said. It was just like her in that movie.
The prosecution's wrong.
Yeah, like it's a BS question. You can't answer that question because they didn't even make that type of engine in that car in 68 or whatever.
But like, the firing order of this is.
No, exactly. That was the vibes. That was totally the vibe. So I got that piece cut off. I guess I didn't put it in my video last night when we were doing it. So,
but yeah, that would have been a cool clip to her talking.
Oh yeah, no, him doing the Ford Edge. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get struck for using copyrighted material on freaking Facebook or YouTube.
No fun.
Oh, I know.
On an almost 30, 40-year-old film.
Yeah, right.
Macho.
Yeah, and then these were the last two witnesses, and then she was hilarious.
Her hair.
Oh my god, she just sat there and was like,
he must be really fun to talk to.
Yeah.
I bet he has a really great smile. I bet he loves his mom. Yeah, he's a cutie.
No, that was awesome. And then I mean, oh yeah, no, he's definitely
I made a potato gun.
Definitely got it going on. He's like a PhD. He's a PhD in mathematics and engineering and oh yeah, no, he's
like Mark Rober.
Super smart too. And then you got the dude here that just, I mean, he totally just roasted him there.
Oh, right, saying that it could be ultimate possibilities for what happened to this. So
no, exactly.
We
and
can't
then
tell.
how is a juror sitting on this jury? I mean, obviously juries do not understand what reasonable doubt is. And I don't know. I think there are some people that just, they're automatically going to believe the state. They're automatically going to believe the person in power. And then
I will say I
you
was
have
that person
to
at 19.
overcome that.
Yep, I was that person at 19. You're guilty because I don't want you to. I don't care.
And
They
it
have a
always
case
comes
against
down
you.
to the jury instructions.
Yeah,
The way the judge tells the jury how to read
scares
the
them
statute.
straight.
Oh, yeah, the jury instructions, and then the jury form was ridiculous too. The guilty,
form?
not guilty.
Oh.
No, the form that they have to fill out.
Oh,
It is.
Yeah, Commonwealth of Mass.
Oh God, it's stupid. It is so stupid. It is so stupid. They had to argue about it, and then the judge was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." So basically, it just said there was a box at the top that said guilty, and then there was like this charge or these underlying, she could be found guilty of second-degree murder or manslaughter with a car or this, right? So there's alternate charges that she could get found guilty of.
Okay.
There's one checkbox for not guilty, and then there's other 3 check boxes for the underlying charges.
okay.
You can't say, so there's a couple problems with this that were pointed out by a couple of the attorneys. So the argument was, even in the Massachusetts, like they give you an example of what the card should look like, what the jury form should look like. And
Right.
one of them says guilty of the main charge and the underlying charges, right?
Okay, so it's a one box.
Right. Initially, she just said guilty and that's it. It just says guilty. No explanation. the second problem is the underlying charges. So let's say they say, no, you're not guilty of the main charge. No, you're not guilty of the second charge. No, you're not guilty of the third charge. But on the fourth charge, we're hung up, right?
Okay.
There's no way to tell you that. There's no way to put that on the form and say, this is the charge we're hung up with. So they can't, because you can't give you retried on charges that you, right. It's double jeopardy. You can't be retried on those other charges. And so, but there's no way to tell you that on their jury form, which is it's just messed up.
So the jury
it's just stupid.
Tried to tell the judge that they didn't like this, or
no. The lawyers were arguing.
Lawyers. Okay, so right.
The jury has no say in any of that.
Oh, okay.
They don't get a vote. They don't get a thing. So another funny thing at the trial, there are people coming from all over the country. People are coming. People
to support and to hate.
Yeah. To hang out, to support Karen Reed. There's hundreds of people that showed up on the last few days of the trial.
Wow.
Right?
Do they not have jobs? Do you take a vacation for something like that? That's weird.
Yeah,
there's not a trial in the world that I would be hanging out with unless it had to do with me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, some people just do that. I mean,
interesting.
Some people think it's a worthy cause, right? Of somebody that they think is getting railroaded by the state.
Okay, sure.
They're open to the public for a reason.
Yeah. So today, there's hundreds of people. They're, the defense team and her tried to get back to her car the day of the closings. I keep wanting to say closing ceremonies. I'm thinking about the damn Olympics. I know. So I just going to say closings. So they had to have security block off. So people were trying to, it was nuts.
That many people. And it's not like you're preparing for them. You're not going to give them a bathroom or a place to camp or water or anything like that.
So today, some folks that said that think that we're all stupid, that Karen Reed is obviously guilty. They needed to be seen today at the courthouse.
Of course they did.
Oh yeah. So let's take a look at the giant parade of morons that came out.
I'm thinking white men, white
women.
How
do you feel about all the people that have been out here?
Tom CPU might be a pedophile. They should be ashamed of themselves. Misled and lied to. Karen killed John. They should all be ashamed of themselves.
Why do they care?
How do you guys feel about
these all cop wives or something?
Them. No, they're just morons. They hate. A lot of it is. A lot of it is just hate for Turtle Boy.
Right.
Honestly.
It's supposed to be like the $1 million moms or like moms. Sometimes the word mom is not used well, or sometimes women, don't support each other too well.
I haven't seen this one, but somebody said that this was stupid. So let's watch stupidity.
Do I need to tell you my name and shit, or?
Yes.
Is there? No, you're not here. You're not here. Oh no, not. Do I need to tell you my name and shit, or?
Yes. That's what you do, so that they can, and you spell it too, so that they can get it correctly on air.
Right. Yeah.
Guess you've never been on TV before. Do I need to give you my name and shit? I mean, what?
Yeah.
Wow, you're professional.
Yeah. At least have your alias ready.
Yes. Dope chick number 1. I mean, come on, you can have fun with it, sure, but
no, exactly. Yeah. Oh, here we go. This is a hilarious one too. All right, hang on. I gotta this. All right, here we go. This is the tearing through. All right. There you go. All 4 of them, or 5 of them. And the cop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They're so careful about their rights that they're don't touch me. Oh my god. I don't need these people in battle with me. I just don't. They're the first to go.
Yes.
They don't have jobs or families to do. What are you doing? This isn't needed.
No.
This isn't even helpful.
It's not helpful.
At least two of these women have histories with you. So we've talked about Turtle Boy before, right? We've talked to you.
I'm trying to remember Turtle Boy. I don't remember.
Okay, so Aiden Kearney is he's from Massachusetts, and he was one of the people. He was the person that brought attention to this case.
Okay.
He went out and screamed from the rooftops that that Karen Reed was getting railroaded, basically.
Okay, so he was the what is that called? The whistleblower.
Yes. Yeah. And so he went on every show that he could possibly go on.
These women don't like him.
Two of them have like history with him. One of them was actually on, was like Free Karen Reed, had t-shirts and everything. And then something happened, and she actually, one of these women is the reason he went to jail for 90 days.
Oh
yeah.
Why did he go to jail? Did he not
for supposedly assaulting one of them? But yeah, it's a nut. It's a
you guys gotta stay away from each other.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Huh.
I mean, it was was silly. But anyway, yeah, so that's the five people that needed to come out. I mean, like I said, hundreds of people showing up to show their support.
Yeah, and what they focus on is the 5, right? Or
oh yeah, no, exactly.
Michael has said this before about how he doesn't believe that what we see on television is truly what the general person thinks. You film the radicals, or you film the people who are making the most noise.
Oh yeah.
But it really doesn't show at all what the general Joe thinks.
Correct.
Because I talk to people every single day, and I haven't once had any person be like psycho on me, be like, this is the way it is. It's more like, yeah, man, we just got to get along. We got to figure things out. That's how everybody is when you talk to them person to person. So this extremist, intense, hateful thing, that's not your average person.
It's not. It's absolutely not your
Everyone
average
wants
person.
to be chill for the most part. Again, everyone wants to just be with their family or go to work, just do normal stuff, get Taco Bell, whatever it is. But they're not into all this drama.
I think the keyboard warrior has created issues, and one of them being that you can't tell intended tone in text, black and white text. So you may perceive what you read as this person barking at you when they were really making a calm, well-worded point. The reader just took that as hostile
because
and then responded hostile.
They're expecting emotion, or they're looking for emotion. Yes. And so if you lay out a logical, well-written statement, they're going to think, oh, are you telling me I'm stupid or whatever it is? It's like, there's no point in even going there because
that just feeds the fire.
Yeah. And then you're just like, well, I'm not going to work with you. Because that's what I would do is like, if I had anybody who was acting like that, I would just walk away. And that's what I usually do is like, as the libertarian me, I think is like, I'm going to go over this way. I'm just going to go away, go do my own thing. Leave me alone. If you think it's cool, come over. But, for the most part, because I found that the way they're always done doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for who I am or for my lifestyle. And so I'm just going to create my own and work. That works great.
And find people that are incompatible with you. And so,
that's kind of how most of us are. We all have our specialized little things, but this intensity to attack each other and this keyboard worrying. Yeah. Like I'm fighting some kind of cause. I don't really think you are. I think you're just bored, or there's something going on you're needing to fulfill this need. It's not because it's actually truthfully needing to be done.
Right.
If you were so passionate, did you ever speak up for all the other things that were actually really bad?
No, exactly.
Or did you just speak up for this one thing that you thought this one time about? I don't know. I don't necessarily love when people are too intense, too on this all or nothing platform.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. Michael, so we got a question in the chat, actually. Woo!
I saw that.
So if they went back to the house, do you think they could find evidence even though the basement's been completely redone?
if you get underneath let's say they put in new carpet or whatnot, you get underneath the carpet, underneath the pad, you might find some dry blood. I doubt you'd be able to get any DNA off it or anything like that. Or you might find that some blood has been cleaned up or covered up or painted over.
Right.
You might find that, which isn't a smoking gun. It's just evidence that someone was bleeding in this room.
Right.
Right. Maybe not tell you when or where or who. Sure.
And blood does degrade, right, over time. So you're not going to maybe get the right thing out of it. And then probable cause is a big part of this too, right? Of being able to have probable cause to go search that basement, right? I mean,
but you might also get things that they missed, blood splatter on, the ceiling from that was cast off, whatever the guy might have been hit with.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You could find that. It's been a while. Sure, but I don't think it's probably not worth looking. Certainly not during deliberations.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, I think so. If this, so here's the thing too about the jury being hung. Okay, the jury comes back. Look at all the possibilities, right? The jury comes back guilty. She's sentenced. She goes to prison, right? However, there are multiple items on appeal that are very appealable about this case and how it was handled, and some of the things that's even there's appealable issues right now.
Almost guaranteed to set aside a conviction.
Absolutely, 100%. So, but as one of the lawyers that I follow on YouTube says, appeals are for losers, right? So if you're appealing it, it's because you lost.
Oh, that's silly.
It is. It's because you lost.
But that's also because if she's acquitted, she could never be tried for this again.
Correct. So we have acquittal. Okay, so then we have acquittal. So the guilty plea or the guilty verdict, the case continues on because of the appeal process, but it's still a resolution, right? There is some type of resolution. She gets convicted. Now, if there is an innocent or not guilty finding, then she goes free. She's not being able to be charged with these charges anymore, and that's a resolution, right? Done and done. A
prosecutor does not get appeal. Right.
Hung jury. State can now hold this over her head and we're not sure about the time limit that they have to say they're going to retry the case.
Homicide, there are none.
Oh no, there's a time limit.
There's no statute of limitation on murder.
Right, but there's a time limit when you have a hung jury. There's a time limit on when you have to decide whether you're going to retry the case or not. You can't leave it open-ended.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it can't be an open-ended thing that you're going to hold this over someone's head. But
nobody can live like that.
But it's still there's still a process, right? And there's still it's going to, whether it's months, so it could be 2 months or 6 months or whatever. And then you're going to have to reschedule another trial that already took 10 weeks so now you're talking another 2+ years. Plus there's going to be more hearings about evidence that, this evidence needs to be excluded.
And this isn't the only
evidence that wasn't preserved.
Right. Plus there's going to be rulings and appeals on rulings that will, I guarantee you that there'll be some rulings that'll be overturned on appeal. So this could, potentially with a hung jury, this damn thing could drag on for another couple years.
God.
And that's going to be multi-million dollars to keep the same.
Wasting money.
Right. And the state, that's the messed up thing is the state doesn't have a limit. They can spend whatever the hell they want to spend on
taxpayers' money, I'm guessing,
oh, yeah.
right?
No, absolutely.
Do you remember when Anna Nicole Smith passed away?
Yes.
About what year?
2003.
No, but I can look it up.
When her divorce court cases were finally, stamped case closed?
When?
2017.
Oh, wow.
That's just lawyers.
2007 is when she passed away. So 10
years later,
to get
attorneys are still arguing the estate
and that's just
from her husband who died before she did.
No, and her husband's raising their daughter, and they need, he needs to be a father, move on with their lives.
Right?
No, not that husband. The elderly man.
Oh, the elderly man. Sorry.
Yeah.
That estate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The judge just finally threw up his hands like, everyone's dead. What are we arguing about?
Seriously. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, the court system can take a while, but could you imagine having this hanging now over your head again?
Yeah, that's talk about victim justice or just the right to move on with everyone's lives. That's
right.
Not,
and she may be like precluded from moving out of state or something like that while this is going on.
Right.
That's not cool.
Exactly. It's so crazy. I mean,
and this could happen to any of us. I mean, that's the other part,
yes,
watching it from afar. But when this is your nightmare, it's not going to be any different for you. You will be screwed.
And back to the state's infinite resources, she's got to take care of appeals and court cases and whatnot with her own funds.
Yeah.
Correct.
This is like innocent until proven guilty, but just to prove her innocence, she's got to bankrupt herself.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, again, that's where like any of us this could happen.
I mean, your expert witness going to be twice as much on the billing for an appeal or a second run at the case.
Oh,
the good thing about the expert witnesses in this case, one, the bite lady, she's doing this on her own.
I was going to say, shouldn't this be kind of your?
They're paying for her travel, but that's it.
Okay.
They're paying for the travel of the two guys who did the testing, but they were hired by the FBI.
Right. So they shouldn't be paid for this.
So they weren't. No, they weren't. They weren't paid for it.
Is that a normal thing to pay somebody?
No. Well, yes. Yes, absolutely.
That doesn't make sense to me because I feel like that's corruptible.
Okay, so expert witnesses are paid witnesses. You pay for your expert testimony. Absolutely.
And the court gives them certain grounds.
Well, so all right. So you make that face.
I do.
But who am I, as a defendant in a case, entitled to your labor to prove that I'm innocent?
I feel, well, in my mind, it should be
but they're doing a job. These people are professionals. They're doing a job.
Right.
They need to get compensated.
And they're allowed to give their opinion, which a regular witness would not be allowed to give opinion.
It's not making sense in my head because I come from a world where you serve because it is your duty as an American to serve.
Right, but there's thousands and thousands of court cases every year.
And this isn't jury service.
Okay,
this is
there's hundreds of thousands of court cases.
Hold on. Let me clarify. So if I am Jody the actor and I'm acting and I get called to a case that has something to do with something and I actually know stuff, shouldn't it be my service to just go and say whatever it is about that? But if it is my job to know about this and to go to different trials to give my answers, because this is what I do for a living, that's what you pay them for?
Well, a lot of witness fees are also for your travel, for paid parking. If I lived over X number of miles, I had to drive and get a hotel.
Are we not allowed to Zoom?
It's up to the judge if they're going to allow, like electronic participation like that.
I don't see what the difference is between being physically there and zooming in. You don't have any travel costs.
It's up to the judge. It's totally up to the judge.
Okay, this is all new to me, so
I remember,
it doesn't make sense.
A judge we had here, he's retired. He used to wait by the old calendar book he kept under his arm and wrote his own calendar and had the clerk do it because that's the way he wanted to run his court calendar.
So when you hire an expert witness, you're hiring somebody that has they have usually extraordinary amount of time put into what they do, right? So they're usually PhDs or at least doctorates or MBAs or whatever, right?
Okay.
So you've got a lot of time spent in education, and then
so it's devoted her life to the study of dog injuries and everything like that.
Correct. And they're going to take their time to look through your case, come up with their opinion.
Okay,
So
write a report. So this is like a
Correct.
job, like that. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This
okay.
is a lot of experts. Now, a lot of experts, it's not their only job, but it's something that they do to compensate themselves. Some people work for defense lawyers. Some people work for the state exclusively. Some work for both.
Some people try and milk it.
Is it like BD Wong in Law and Order? Would he be he was that psychologist,
No
right? The
idea.
child psychologist.
Oh, yeah.
Would he be a paid witness, or would he be?
No. He works for the state.
He works for the state.
Yeah,
okay.
No,
but if he
these
was a
are
private,
experts.
but if he was
Correct.
a private child psychologist, BD Wong's character would be a paid
Most likely, yeah.
witness.
Yep.
What's the who
Usually
sets the
they
pricing?
haven't. They do.
They
The
do.
witness
So I'm an
does.
independent contractor, basically.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
I remember,
Yeah,
and then there's people that try and milk it and just think it's a gravy train. Say, when I had my court case coming up about my hearing issue from the auto accident, my audiologist wanted to bill at like $5,000 an hour to testify.
That's stupid.
When we were calling him as, the audiologist who treated me.
Right.
And he was being paid on a charge. It's like I had to win this case to be able to pay him.
Oh my God.
And he wanted this extra like $5,000 on top of it.
That's selfish. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it happens.
That's you have to be better. Not use those people. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like we need to be there for each other and tell the truth because it's the right thing to do, not because we should.
Well,
be
yeah.
right. But I am
But,
getting
I
a
mean,
little bit
you-
clearer of
Yeah. When
the
you, when
woman
you,
with the dog bites the food. But I really do like that she did it for free because
Mhm.
because if you did pro bono stuff as well, wouldn't they potentially?
No,
have
and a lot of them
benefits?
do that. A lot of them do pro bono stuff. I mean, it's
They
not
help
all
the
of
person
them.
because there's the
I
thing
mean-
about helping a person who didn't do something or helping somebody prove somebody's, I mean, that's important.
So think about it this way too: is a lot of times in higher like murder cases or whatever, if you have a court appointed attorney, you will have a budget for expert witnesses too, right?
Okay.
So the state will pay for your expert witnesses, and if you are not able to afford it, right?
Right.
So the state will chip in, especially those people that are have
average
public
person.
defenders,
Yeah.
right? If you got a public defender, then most likely you're not going to be able to afford an expert. But if you have something in your case that you can show that you need an expert for, a lot of times they'll pay for it. So, I mean,
I just
it
feel like
goes
a
both
doctor
ways.
giving a phone call into his trial again, like that, like what you were talking about, Michael. I just feel like
Well,
that's a bad doctor.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
feel
No,
like
that's a little ridiculous.
Well, I fell victim to a lot of things that this guy, I didn't catch it right away because I was in such a bad way dealing with this
Mhm.
tinnitus for the first time. And,
Ugh.
I just wanted any kind of help. So it didn't occur to me until later, but he named his business practice. I don't want to say it, but it started with A.
Oh, so
So
he'd
it's
be
right
the
there, first in the phone book,
first in the phone book.
and
Yeah.
and then later on, I was like reading the reviews and whatnot on his website, that his customers had, it is like, man, it was way more wordy than anyone write. And he's using industry buzzwords that some Johnny who just got his hearing aids wouldn't use phrases like that.
Gotcha.
A doctor who's in the
wow.
career field would, and I just,
Yeah.
I felt kind of sick with myself. It's like, oh, this guy's a creep. And I crawled right to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, hey, that's
There
our
we go.
show.
Yeah, that was a pretty great show.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was awesome. Thank you. So
Fridays.
next week, I think we'll
I want to
We'll
talk a
look-
little bit about the debate next week because I didn't.
oh yes.
I didn't get to
I
see
haven't
any
found
of it.
anything on just like one clip.
Well, we can definitely talk about it. It was something
Mumbles
to
versus banter?
behold. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We'll talk about
got
it next
nothing.
week. Carrot for
Yeah.
the show.
Yep. And we'll look at closing arguments. We got to look at closing arguments or closing ceremonies, as I like to call them. All right. Oh yeah. Michael's got his 4th of July flags there. All right. Good night, folks. Thank you.